Have you ever accidentally crashed a gender reveal party while fleeing from a bee swarm? Last summer, I was house-sitting for my aunt in this nice neighborhood. She'd gone to visit my cousin for 2 weeks and asked me to water her plants and make sure everything looked normal. Easy money for a broke college kid, right? Wrong. Day 3, I noticed her fancy automatic sprinklers weren't working. The lawn was getting that crispy yellow look and I panicked. My aunt loved that grass more than some people love their kids. I figured fixing it myself would prove I could handle adult stuff without calling for help every 5 minutes. I found the main sprinkler box buried near the back fence. Looked simple enough. Just unscrew the metal cover and see what's broken inside. Should take maybe 10 minutes. The second I lifted that cover, chaos erupted. The entire box was packed with angry bees. Not like 5 or 6 bees. I'm talking hundreds of these things just exploding out like they'd been waiting for me specifically. I screamed like a little kid and started running. These bees were not messing around. They were dive-bombing my face, getting tangled in my hair, crawling inside my shirt. I was swatting and yelling and probably looked completely insane. The fence behind my aunt's yard was only about 4 feet tall, so I figured I could jump it and lose them in the neighbor's bushes. I didn't even look before I vaulted over. Just pure panic mode. I landed hard in someone's backyard and immediately knew I'd messed up big time. There were pink and blue balloons everywhere, folding chairs set up in perfect rows, a table covered with cupcakes that had little baby bottles on top, at least 20 people standing around staring at me like I'd just dropped from outer space. A little girl in a frilly dress started screaming. Someone yelled for someone to call 911. An older guy in a baseball cap rushed over and started smacking my back with a plastic serving tray, trying to kill the bees that were still all over me. I was too busy getting attacked by bees to really process what was happening. All I knew was that these strangers were trying to help me, and I was probably ruining their whole day. The guy with the tray dragged me behind a folding table and dumped an entire can of Sprite over my head and neck. The cold soda actually worked. The bees finally buzzed off to find something else to terrorize. That's when I caught my breath and really looked around. There was a huge banner hanging between 2 trees that said, "Boy or girl, Baby Martin arrives this fall," with little footprints all around the edges. Oh no. I just crashed someone's gender reveal party covered in bees and screaming like a maniac. The pregnant woman was sitting on a garden swing looking totally stunned. Her husband was laughing so hard he spilled pink punch all down his white shirt. Everyone else was just standing there trying to figure out what had just happened. I started apologizing like crazy, explaining about the sprinklers and the bees and how I'd just been trying to escape. The woman's husband couldn't stop laughing. He kept saying it was the most excitement they'd had all month. The older guy who'd helped me turned out to be the woman's dad. He said they'd been having the most boring party ever until I showed up. Everyone had just been standing around eating cupcakes and making small talk about baby names. They actually invited me to stay, said I looked like I needed a cupcake after getting attacked by a swarm. The pregnant woman, whose name was Rachel, thought the whole thing was hilarious once she got over the shock. Her husband kept joking that maybe the bees were trying to tell them something about the baby. Like maybe it would be born with superhuman bee-calling powers or something equally ridiculous. I ended up hanging out for the whole party, helped them pop the balloon that revealed they're having a boy, ate way too many cupcakes, even got some numbers from a few people who said they might need house-sitting help in the future. The dad helped me call a neighbor with a ladder so I could get back into my aunt's yard without going through the bee zone again. When I finally checked my phone later, I had 17 missed calls from my aunt. Apparently the neighbors had called her thinking someone was breaking into her house because of all the screaming.